And I just want her to rest in peace and get some justice. Nothing I said or done would bring her back to us. We know that. I know that. But I miss her so bad. I just can't sleep as I'm sleeping. I just miss my grandbaby so bad.
I can't say what happened. I don't know. But I'm just asking the court to have some leniency. Please. I'm not saying that he did do it, he didn't do it. I'm just asking the court to have some leniency.
This afternoon, 17-year-old Jaden Birch, who was convicted in the shooting death of a 12-year-old in Lake City 2 years ago, was now sentenced to life in prison.
Mariah Smith was shot and killed while sitting on her couch inside a home in Northwest Long Street. Investigators arrested Matthew Rice, who was 17 at the time of the shooting, Jaden Birch, who was 15, and Jatarius Llewellyn, who was 14. In August, Birch was found guilty of shooting and killing Smith and found guilty of the attempted murder of her brother and grandmother, who were also inside the home. On Friday, Matthew Rice was found guilty on 1 count of murder and 2 counts of attempted murder. Prosecutors say the shooting was in retaliation for a fight at the school that day involving Smith's older brother.
The day of the shooting, a fight broke out at school involving Jenkins, which got him kicked off the football team and suspended for 10 days. During Jenkins' testimony, we learned he and Birch are cousins. Jenkins says when the first bullet hit the house, he got on the ground and then tried to cover his sister. Now, the family of Jaden Birch was also in the courtroom today, and 2 of them spoke, including his cousin and aunt. They both gave their condolences to Smith's family, but his cousin says there's no winner in these cases and wanted the judge to be lenient when sentencing him. Both told the judge how his mom was killed by a drunk driver when he was young and says he had no issues until now besides learning disabilities. Towards the end, Birch spoke and said he was sorry, but told the judge he's innocent and they have the wrong guy. But the judge says he shot 25 rounds into the home, which shows no regard for human life, which led her to the life sentence and 30 years for both attempted murder charges. Prosecutors pointed out that 20 minutes after the shooting, Birch was texting his ex on Instagram. Records show she asked who was killed, and he says Tadrian's sister with a smiling emoji, to which his ex responds and says, "That's not funny, she's dead." He replied, quote, "I know, I did it."
Okay, guys, this story out of Florida is absolutely heartbreaking and honestly unreal. I was not aware of this case when it first happened, but 2 teens have just been sentenced to life in prison for the murder of a 12-year-old girl, Mariah Smith. She was simply sitting on her couch when 25 bullets were fired into her home. So this case is actually not new. It happened back in 2023. In August of 2023, 3 teens, Matthew Rice, Jaden Birch, and Jatarius Llewellyn, walked up to Mariah's house in Lake City and opened fire. The whole thing started over a fight between the 3 juveniles and Mariah's older brother. The fight had absolutely nothing to do with Mariah. Prosecutors say that Rice, who's shown here on the left, his DNA was found on one of the guns that was used in the case. But they're calling Birch, who's on the right, the actual ringleader of the entire ordeal. According to them, the group actually left his house to commit the shooting, and he's the one who had the beef with Mariah's brother that jump-started all of this chaos. And the part that left most people stunned in this whole case was that within 1 hour of the shooting, Birch here was allegedly on Instagram bragging about it, even sending a smiley emoji when he talked about what they had done. He tried to delete the messages, but investigators pulled them right back up. Because as you know, just because you put it out there and you try to delete it doesn't mean that it's actually gone. So law enforcement was able to pull back his messages showing everything that he said after they took Mariah's life. Even with all that evidence, he still claimed that he was innocent in court and took his chances at trial. Police found 25 shell casings and a laser sight outside the home. Detectives later confirmed that the whole attack was tied to the fight with Mariah's brother, and that Birch here had supplied the guns to the other teens before they all walked over and immediately opened fire on Mariah's house. Llewellyn here was only 14 when he was arrested when this first happened, so he should be around 16 now. It's unclear why he did not sit for trial with the other 2 young men, but he is still listed as awaiting his trial in this case. To honor Mariah, the city renamed the street where she tragically lost her life in her memory. They renamed the street Mariah Reginae Smith Forever 12 Memorial Street. That way, her name will never die and her memory will live on forever.